At this time, we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Boer,
Here.
Trutchell,
Here.
Pfeiffer,
Here.
President Bannister,
Here.
Trustee Walschlager,
Here.
Connor,
Here.
Hallquist.
Here. Thank you. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Boer.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will have the swearing in of our Police Lieutenant Robert Jewell. I, Robert Jewell,
I, Robert Jewell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Heartland,
the charters, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Heartland,
the rules and regulations of the Heartland Police Department,
the rules and regulation of the Heartland Police Department,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of my office as Police Lieutenant
of my office as Police Lieutenant
to the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. The podium's yours if you want it.
So Robert Jewell joins us. He's been with us for over 12 years. He's served in a lot of different roles here at the Heartland Police Department with our Metro Drug Unit as a negotiator, with our Suburban Critical Incident Tactical Team, and he's been most recently assigned as one of our detectives with the Heartland Police Department. Specializes in a lot of our computer forensics, so he's one of our go-to experts, not only here in Heartland, but he has access at our computer forensics lab in Washoe County, and has been a go-to person for that. And as you can imagine, everything involves technology nowadays, so a lot of things come through him when it comes to that, and that expertise has paid off well for us. But now it's time for him to take the next step in his career, so we're glad to have him on board with us, coming on as our police lieutenant, assigned to our third shift, and he'll be overseeing our third shift patrol district. With that, I would invite Rob to introduce his family.
Sure. Yeah, this is my wife Courtney, my three kids Wyatt, Paisley, and Remy, and then my sister-in-law, Shelly.
And Courtney's gonna come up and do the official pinning of the lieutenant badge.
I feel the same way.
It's harder than it looks.
It's gonna be like that. Come on.
Again, congratulations, Lieutenant Jewell. It's official. And if there's anything you'd like to say to the group, you're more than welcome.
Just real brief. I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to serving the community in this new role. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, as is custom. Yeah, okay, you know. You don't have to stay. You can. You're more than welcome if you'd like.
I'll be back.
Good shot.
There you go. All right.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Thanks. Do you want me to post that one?
No. Come on, what's with this thing? Anyway,
My hard
I
copy?
got it here. We have, I've got it.
Okay.
I just started acting goofy. At this time, we have public comments. For anybody that would like to speak in public comments, please step towards the podium and go ahead and take the floor. Sir?
Hey, good evening, everyone. David DeCourcy-Bauer, 515 East Capitol Drive. Also serve on the Village Plan Commission. And I'm here really just today to highlight one aspect of the proposed quarry development. It's a development that I think is very exciting for the village, and I'm really interested to see it kind of move forward. Just in reviewing the village board package of information that was provided, one of the items that I expressed sort of concern about in the plan commission related to some of the historical contamination on the property as it relates to diesel fuel. And in reviewing the information provided by the developer and their consultant, I think some of the information that has been provided to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, I think all the information is correct. I think the issue is that their interpretation of some of the regulations and rules and guidance. My professional background is in environmental engineering and remediation, and I think that the conclusion that essentially the 9 to 13 feet of separation from the contaminated soil to the building is sufficient to protect the future occupants of the building is not an accurate statement. And I think that the village should do and request for additional either evaluation of that data and information, or have the developer provide construction and protection of that building. There's methods that you can use to protect the building. It's much easier for that to be installed and required up front than it is down the line. And the last thing I want us to be in the position of as a village is have a building ready for folks to move in, and then oops, there's an issue. So that's why I'm bringing it up now. Just appreciate everyone's time. So.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, David. Typically, I don't do this, David. Could you, since you are on the plan commission and with your background, could you send forward, and if you want to say it now, you can, but could you send forward some of the remediation that you're referring to, whether it be things installed in its place or distances that are safe, in your opinion, that you're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've provided documentation and an email to the village professional engineer, as well as the environmental consultant. So they're both in the loop. I just want to make sure that the information that you had as a board, that I highlighted that area specifically. So, okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else that would like to speak in public comments? Anybody that would like to speak in public comments? Anybody on Zoom that would like to speak in public comments? All right, the first item that we have, acts of, or orders of business on our agenda is a consideration of village board minutes for the September 25th, 2023 meeting.
That we approve the minutes from September 25th, 2023.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for September 25th, 2023. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have items related to the vouchers. We have consideration of vouchers for payments in the amount of $679,045.94.
Make a motion.
Go ahead, sorry.
Motion to approve the vouchers for the payment of $679,045.94.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the payment of the vouchers for 679,045.94. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have actions related to licenses and permits. We have bartenders, operators licenses for Jennifer Randolph, Cassette Scheffelkler, Kira Davies, and Laura Fisher.
I'll make a motion to approve the license permits as stated.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the licenses as have been listed in the packet. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration of release and elimination of the current letter of credit for Lightning Development LLC. This is the Woodnote residences.
Yeah, so this project is at its completion as far as all the work to be done. They had some items that they had to wrap up this spring, summer that has been completed, walkthrough by Rukert Milky, our DPW, so everyone is in agreement on signing off and releasing this letter of credit.
Anything you want to add, DPW?
So, the only thing left on the punch. Some painting of the curb, mounting of no parking signs on the north driveway, and redoing the path that goes around that's also Lake Country Lutheran High School uses for track or cross-country. They accomplished all that. They finished that. We did a final walkthrough with the developer, and DPW and Rukert Melke are fine with releasing this line of credit.
Punch list is taken care of, then I'd say that I'd make a motion that we release and eliminate the current letter of credit for Lightning Development.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move forward with a release and elimination of the current letter of credit for Lightning Development LLC. This is at the Woodnote residence, and obviously this the commencement of this elimination is the beginning of this being a standalone property here in Heartland that's no longer under construction, basically. Any discussion? Did we get a motion? Got a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration to terminate an agreement with ActiveNet in 2024 and sign a contract in 2023 with CivicRec for program registration software to be implemented in 2024.
Yes, so we have discussed this in the budget meeting. I am looking to update our existing recreation program registration software. We've had ActiveNet for 16 years. It's very outdated. It doesn't have all of the features that the newer softwares are offering now. And it currently has a pretty steep fee of, on average, about 9% for processing fee. So looking to implement, again, CivicRec, which has additional new features, a significantly lower processing fee, and the ability, again, to move some of the processes that we do upstairs in the administrative offices from paper process to online, which is a nice upgrade for the residents as far as park rentals, shelter rentals, and then down in the future, field rentals as well.
I'll make a motion to terminate the agreement with ActiveNet in 2024 and sign a contract in 2023 with CivicRec.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to terminate an agreement with ActiveNet in 2024 and sign a contract in 2023 with CivicRec for program registration software to be implemented in 2024. Any discussion?
I just have a comment. One of the features is ticketing that I noticed. So I'm thinking right away the hometown celebration, whereas instead of people standing in line to get their drink tickets or whatever, they can pay in advance to get those. And then it will eliminate some lines.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Just from what it sounded like when we were running through this with the budget, it really is a much more friendly system to our customers, the residents in the village, so it sounds like a smart change.
Yes. And I did fail to mention that there's a 25% discount right now in Q4 off of the initial year fee. So it's a great time to take advantage of the signing the new contract.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration regarding $1,000 sponsorship of horse-drawn carriage at the Heartland Lights event on December 31st, 2023.
Yeah, so several years ago, Heartland Lights used to have horse-drawn carriage rides around the village. I am proposing that we bring those back this year and that the village sponsors this event or this opportunity at the event. We would be working with Hoofbeats Express. They have what they call a wagonette, 2 horses. And they would be, there is a map included in the packet. It's a 1/2 mile block that circles Village Hall and comes down to the Legion. All right turns, so all we would need to do is block off parking in that path, and it would minimize how traffic is affected that evening. It is 12 to 16 riders per ride and over 3 hours, hoping to get anywhere from roughly probably 200 people on this ride. It's $300 per hour. For 3 hours is $900, but there is a $100 fee for co-insurance. So in order to get the Village of Heartland's name on the insurance, there'd be a little bit of a fee there. So this again is a great thing that we used to offer, and I think it'd be really exciting and really beneficial for the community to have this come back to the Heartland Lights event.
Sarah, are there any fees to people to ride? Because I remember when my son was little, we used to do that, and there was a fee to ride.
So this, I'm proposing that it would be complimentary, but we would ask since it's the season that we do our food drive, we would be asking for non-perishable food donations as payment to get on the ride. And there will be a lot of interest, so we'll just have somebody manning that space and letting them know how much time is left and who's going to get on the horses and who's not.
This has been, I presume, discussed with the bid and all that.
Yes, so the bid is aware that I was looking into this and presenting it to the board. Oh, and yep, I sat down with the chief and deputy chief of police and have their support in this as far as it being safe and yeah. So we would have the carriage drop off right by the north parking lot of the library, so they can actually pull off of the street. And then there's a nice space for a line to queue that's on a sidewalk and not in the road.
I think it's awesome, and I like that we're gonna use this as an opportunity to raise donations for food pantry. Again, that time of year, that's what we try to do, and I think that's great. Love that you're bringing this back, and I would make a motion that we approve the $1,000 to sponsor this.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the $1,000 sponsorship for the horse-drawn carriage at the Heartland Lights event on December 1st, 2023. Any discussion?
Can they open for Bella Kane? Because I love Hoofbeats Express music. Okay, I'm sorry, they're wrong. Just a joke.
Oh, Lord. But usually yours are pretty good. That one can go in there.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a discussion and consideration of increasing fees for park shelter and field reservations.
Yes, so we reviewed this at the park board meeting earlier this month, and they are recommending that we raise the rates for the park shelter rentals. We are looking to restructure a little bit. Right now, we currently have 4 options as far as the number of attendees. Many of the municipalities surrounding us only have 3 options. And based on the numbers of reservations, we have very few people who are having a party or utilizing the park shelter with 200 plus people. So we're proposing that the rates be increased. What looks like it's $10 for the 50 attendees, $10 up from the 100 attendees, and then instead of the 2 additional ranges, anything over 101 attendees would be $150. And then still keeping that same range of an additional $55 for the non-resident fees.
And then when you go to athletic field scheduling applications, we had one baseball organization that's changed their schedule 18 times in a 2.5-month period. So there's a lot of admin costs there. So we decided to raise all field reservation or field rentals $5 across the board. And then we also, with the increased pickleball courts that we're going to be adding in classes, we're going to raise, we're proposing to raise the pickleball court rental to $20 for every 2 hours, up from 15.
And we're going to keep the field prep fee the same, though.
We are keeping the field preps the same for the 24 season.
And these prices were in line with competition? Or
They are correct.
Current competition around us and stuff, so we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, so.
Can you
That's very
provide
fair.
some input on what those competitive, I mean, because I've always thought we are very competitive, but what the surroundings?
So a lot of municipalities, we didn't want to go that route because it's more work for admin. Some municipalities are now charging for garbage bags, toilet paper. We just thought, so let's just keep it simple. Let's raise the field reservations $5, and that way it's less work for admin. Because you'll have to monitor DPW, parks people have to get a hold of admin and say 2 rolls of toilet paper. That doesn't make sense to us. So we thought we'd just raise it across the board.
Sarah, do you have a list of competitors? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. So I have Pewaukee, Oconomowoc, Delafield, and Waukesha County. For the comparative first level, residence fees was 50, 75, and 85. And then where we are going to be 85, so we're in line with the Waukesha County. Most of the reservations that we have are in that group size. And then for the next one up, where we're charging the $100, the ranges were between 70, 75, 100, and 160. For the final range of 101 plus participants, we are looking at 125, 100, 125, and 150. What? Most of the park shelter rentals are Nixon. So, for example, we had 124 park shelter rentals this year. 98 of them were in Nixon Park, and that splash pad really does bring in. It's a huge draw. 98 in Nixon. The next closest, Hartbrook, 21 reservations. So obviously, we've got a lot of interest in Nixon Park. But we have 3 shelters up by the splash pad. One is always available, not rentable for the public to use, while the other 2 are rentable. So,
I just wanted to ask a question on the park rental, and then I have another one on the ballparks. So you just touched on and I don't know if this came up in park, but you just touched on a really, really important topic, in my opinion, as we've seen with Major League Baseball, parking, everything. When people want to use something, that's when it costs some. When people really want to use something, it costs a lot more. Kind of like if you go for parking, well, there's a Brewer playoff game going on. You're going to pay a lot. It used to be just one price to park in their parking lot. Now, if you want to park really close, you're paying a lot. If you want to park really not that close, but pretty close, then you're paying, you're still paying a ton. And then you can park way in the back for like $25 and walk 6 blocks. But you still consider yourself in the parking lot, so you're good, front door. But where I'm going with that is, has it been touched on at all that considering that Nixon is, because of the amenities that we have there, it is an absolute premium, and that there's a chance that people probably would pay, in some cases, probably 2 times what's on here, but they would never pay that for a different structure. Has that been something I'm just wondering if it's something that's been talked about?
We did talk about the amenities at Nixon and the splash pad, where the other communities around don't necessarily have all those amenities, so That's why we kind of went towards the upper end, but we didn't go way above. We're still within the range of others.
Okay.
That's why we felt it was a fair and equitable increase, but not too much.
Right. I was just thinking, because you'd pay the same if you went to Hartbrook or to Centennial. You'd pay the same as if you went to Nixon, but there's more amenities there. So I just didn't know if maybe that's something to think about down the road. You know, basically premium pricing,
Right.
kind of thing.
I don't know, that might be, administration might get confused, right? If the Hartbrook costs one, but Nixon costs another, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know, we're just doing one lump
I
sum
think
to
it's
cover
simple, just
everything, right?
the way that we do bookings right now, it's good to keep it flat. When we have new software, we can kind of mimic what Sussex does. Sussex does not have their shelter rentals, like their rates posted. You just go in, you pick your park, and you throw the thing in your cart, and each different rental has a different fee. So that's something we can look at in the future. I mean, I guess we could still look at it, but yes, it would be challenging to try to
That's all I was
maintain.
asking, is if it's something that we may look at down the road.
Yeah, I think.
Sure.
Or
I
whether,
think we
and I was
absolutely
just
would.
thinking of whether we go with a number system where it's like, let's say it's 5, 6, 7, 8 are the ones that are at Nixon. It's like, if you're renting those, yeah, it's gonna be, you want it on a Saturday there's 15 families that want that thing on a Saturday, in the middle of summer. Yeah, you might be paying $300, but it's a heck of it's a really nice venue.
And that's
for
what
the village has
Waukesha
put into
County
it.
does. Their rate jumps from 85 to 160 on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. Because that's gonna be high demand
Yep.
dates.
So it sounds like that is something that could be looked at down the road when we have better software. I was just kind of wondering. And could you touch on the baseball fields? Did you get any surrounding? Are we still right in line there? I'm guessing we are,
we're
considering
in
the fact
line.
that we can never even have a field that's not in use. We
We're
hear people
actually-
yell about who gets to use it, but not that it's not in use.
No, we're in line. The only time that we get hurt a little bit is we don't make money when our full-timers are prepping diamonds prior to summer help starting. So the first couple of weeks we get hurt, and then we get hurt in September and late August when the summer kids go back. But we discussed it, and we figured that it was only five preps that the full-timers had to do, so that wasn't so bad. But we discussed it internally, and we thought we'd try it this way. Let's see how it works out, and then maybe we could adjust it. Maybe in May and September they pay more, or we can do a lot with this new software. We just have to figure out work the bugs out of it, and then we can adjust the pay as we go.
All right.
I think with the amount of rentals, field rentals, we make up with the extra costs, we make up for the preps if we lose money. So we did it with volume.
Sure. Oh, I can't even remember. I think someone's gonna make a motion, right?
Yeah.
Yes. There we go.
I'll make a motion to increase the fees for the park shelter and field reservations as stated.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to raise the park, shelter, and field reservation fees. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The motion is carried. Oh, no, I don't mind that they're loud. I was waiting to hear if someone was going down the stairs. And as I was saying the word carried, and I thought, that's gonna hurt. But it sounds like it's just fine. Just toddler walk out there. So now we have discussion and consideration of memorandum of understanding with Wisconsin Election Commission for the continued use of Badger books. Hi, Chief. Lights off, you're on. It's crazy.
The village has used Badger books for the last several years. The Wisconsin Election Commission just came forward with a memorandum of understanding that they want each community to sign off on that is currently using it. So it's already something that has been in place and used.
Do you suggest we continue?
Yes.
No changes, correct?
No changes. Everything looks fine in there.
I'd make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding with the Wisconsin Election Commission for the continued use of Badger books.
I'll second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to continue using Badger books, and that we are understanding that we've got the memorandum of understanding. All in favor? Aye. That motion passes. We'll continue using Badger books, and I'll sign this before we go into closed. Now, now? Yeah.
Want to read that item, or?
I'll read that, get the table, and then pull. At this time, the next item on the agenda is a discussion regarding the proposed 2024 village budget, which would cover village board, administration, finance, elections, municipal building inspection, cable TV, other funds, general fund revenues, and debt service. It's been requested that that item, if the board would so allow, and a motion and a second were to be had, that item could be postponed until the next meeting, even though it was postponed on this one due to some of the things that we have. It's just going to be a long meeting. Obviously, we're trying to hit it on a meeting that won't be as long as some of these.
It has to be the next meeting, because after that, we're approving the budget, so we're good.
I said we're getting down to the wire.
We're good. We still have a month.
I'll make a motion to postpone the 2024 budget as stated till the next
October
meeting.
23rd.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to postpone item 9 to October 23rd. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have,
I'd like to ask to see if you guys would move item 14 up to now for announcements, because staff will have announcements, and we will probably have discussion and then closed session, so they have some
So they don't have
announcements.
to hang around, yeah.
some staff doesn't have to leave, but some I'm sure will. But some does want to leave, I'm sure, and I'm sure some will stick around.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Make a motion that we move item 14 up until right now.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to, we're okay without suspending the rules, correct? To move item 14 to current, now, that we would start announcements now. So with that, we'll take the vote. All in favor of moving the announcements to now? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried, so announcements.
All right. So I just want to state that the Public Works has an opening, so if you know any young females or males that have a CDL license and want to work for the great village of Heartland, tell them to go on our website, fill an application, and send it in.
We have started efforts for sponsorships for Hometown Celebration 2024. So if there are any businesses interested in supporting this great weekend, send them my way, please.
How much have we raised so far?
We are at $7,000.
Good.
Curious, have you had any conversation with the large donors from last year and their interest to do it again?
Yes. Cut and Go and Grind and Go, they are very interested. They are planning their budget within the next few weeks and did ask for the specifics of what the sponsorship entails and how it will look different this year. So I provided that, and I feel pretty good about that one. Cassandra's was not a no, but it was a we'll see. And then I have been reaching out to some of the other levels as well, and many of them are recommitting. And we did have GFL jump from 1,500 up to 5,000, so that was nice.
All right. Last month, we were 16 calls over last year's in that month, and that brought us back to even, so we're on pace for 1,100 plus calls again for the year. This Saturday, the 14th, is the pancake breakfast from 7 to noon. Flight for Life is scheduled to land at 10 a.m. So come on out, come hungry, eat pancakes and sausage.
And donate, bring cash.
And donate.
Just have some recruitment news with Lieutenant Jewell's promotion. We're going to be looking to backfill that officer position. So we received 9 applications of candidates that have prior law enforcement experience at different levels. We'll be starting that recruitment process with our written test on October 16th, followed by a PD interview October 23rd, and then we'll finish with a PFC interview for approval of candidates on November 14th and look to fill that role shortly thereafter. We also have, coincidentally, 9 applications for our part-time administrative assistant position that closed last week, and we'll be reviewing those applications tomorrow and scheduling a interview for that process and hopefully filling that in the next week or two. And that's all I got. Oh, and actually one other thing. I'll be at the International Association of Chiefs of Police Conference Thursday through Tuesday. But Deputy Chief Calera will be in the office during my absence. Yeah, so,
Yeah, why do you leave that kind of stuff out?
it's just a lot of work for me to do, and no one else wants to do it, so I get stuck doing it. But Waukesha County Communication Center, they have 2 oversight committees. I'm already on one, the Dispatch Operations Commission. That's appointed by the county executive and approved by the county board. They have another multi-jurisdictional committee, so the DOC is only police and fire, first responder entities. The WCC, or the Communication Center, also did a multi-jurisdictional oversight group for, it's called the Radio Advisory Committee. Law enforcement's part of that committee, but then you also have DPW, administration, other areas that use the radio system as part of that committee, so they asked me to serve on that group as well. So I'll be doing that. I think it's a strong, I think.
Congratulations, Chief.
Good job, Chief.
I have one, just to add what Sarah, we are still taking donations for the Nixon Ice Rink too, as well. So.
I don't really have an announcement, but I just what the chief said, I kind of want to say that pretty much has a good statement here for our village with the police department, with everything going on and defunding and officers retiring. That, at least I think, 9 applications is phenomenal. So that says something, a testament to our police department here, that there's a lot of people that really probably want to work for us. So I think that's a great number to have from a recruitment standpoint. A lot of good options.
Yeah, I will say, we definitely have a good name in the community, so we do attract candidates with experience for 9 candidates with experience. However, you take this process 10, 15 years ago, you have like probably 500 people putting in for those same positions. So that world is turned upside down in its head. I took the test, there was 3 different groups, and we filled the Waukesha County Expo Center in 3 different groups. So it's just different world right now. No one wants to be a police officer, and sometimes I don't blame. But it's great when you have that kind of experience, willing to leave their agencies and come over. That definitely says something for the agency we have here in the village of Heartland.
I only have a couple, and they'll be quick. Obviously, as I said, the last meeting, we have a study being done on fire. That person that's doing that 5 Bugle, they're still writing that up. That'll be coming forward. I got a call or contacted from some businesses that are outside of the bid and outside of downtown that are, they want to be included and part of Heartland Lights, but because they're not part of the bid, I don't know what we can do there, but they are businesses in Heartland. I don't know what we do there. If I'm not mistaken, Heartland Lights is,
Put on and sponsored by the bid.
yeah, it's put on and sponsored by the bid, but at the same time, I think that I guess I'm letting everybody, incling department heads, know, and everybody here, that at some point, I would hate to see there be two different Christmas celebrations in Heartland. So I don't know what we can do there, but I think at some point we might need to come to the table and see if it becomes a joint, whatever we can do, because the fact is we are one community, and I think that would, I don't think that'd be cool if all of a sudden we had two different tree lightings and two different this, and which we're just, all of a sudden, I mean, talk about segregation, it's like, well, you're on the south side of that freeway, and you're on the north side. I mean, that just isn't where we want to head, so I think that's something we will end up having to address, so I'm just throwing it out there to the, whoever can help fix it. Other than that, I don't have any other announcements. So, with that, any of you that need to go, obviously can at any time. So now we have the, I'm not sure, I want to kind of go on, I want to briefly do an
We have to go to 10.
I know that.
Oh.
I want to briefly do an overview for 10, that this is a third reading. So just because it's a third reading, I'm saying this for clarification, does not mean that anything automatically passes. It's kind of like getting all of your paperwork in to be able to start a race. It means that that portion has been done, but it still takes a motion for anything to pass and a vote. I just wanted to clarify that to make sure. So number 10 on our agenda is the Village Board third reading of Heartland Quarry, a proposed PUD development project whose approval and rezoning is being sought by Three Leaf Partners LLC on property tax keys HAV 0730981, HAV 0730985, HAV 0730986, and HAV 0730987 at 700 and 701 West Capitol Drive. The Village Board will review and consider proposed preliminary site and building plans for 10 multifamily apartments, 240 units, and 3 townhomes, 27 units. B, proposed plans for the amenities for the project. C, proposed rezoning to RM1 with PUD overlay in conjunction with a PUD agreement. D, proposed preliminary certified survey map. E, proposed land use amendment and resolution. F, forgiveness of village impact and connection fees. Presentation by John Ford as detail of and rationale for this request. That was obviously copied from last time. That does constitute our third reading. Before we move to our next item, can I have just a second just to consult with you and Hector? I want to ask a question that I think is pertinent. And it's not, and I'll let the board know what the question.
Not yet, hold on.
Request for forgiveness of impact fees last time? I don't remember that. Okay.
Has it started yet, Leo? Siri. I'm trying to find it. That's funny.
Dial it up.
Are you kidding me? Of course Siri would tell you. She'll tell you a joke if you ask her.
Don't see. I don't think my phone will do that.
Isn't that right? Yeah.
His ring finger.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you for that. Just wanted to make sure I was doing everything correctly. So now we have item 11. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we do have Three Leaf here. If they would like to come and speak, please. Sorry about that.
And if the board has any questions,
Yeah.
while I'm choking,
Big swallow.
I can help.
there's people of their team on Zoom or here in person. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Village Board. Jordan Milukevich, 3-Leaf Development, here to give another overview on our Heartland Quarry project, as it's been reiterated a few different times. 267 units, 240 apartments, a mix of 1 to 3 bedrooms, 27 townhomes, 2+ miles of walking paths and sidewalks, amenity space, including a pool, parkland for children, and a community room for our residents. As we've gone through this process, we're looking for not only TIF assistance on this one, but we also are looking for forgiveness of the village impact fees and connection fees, which total $1.24 million. Without that assistance, this project would unfortunately not be feasible and capable for 3-Leaf partners to be able to move this project forward. We're continuing to work through that and look forward to this project being a success in the village. And at this time, I'll pass it back, and if there's any questions regarding the project, myself or the team will be able to answer.
Yeah, and I just wanted to state real quick, we have come up with, based on some of the Plan Commission recommendations, there's a document out here with some conditions with approval. We've talked about that. We have bi-weekly staff meetings. We will be having a meeting next week, Tuesday, which I invited Mr. DeCourcy Bauer to. I know you have a job, but if you would like to attend it, you're free to discuss that with us as well. So we do have meetings with them. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, they have a bunch of their staff here.
Ryan, what time of the day is that meeting?
7:30 a.m.
Okay.
Yes. Could you elaborate?
My microphone's messed up. If you could come to the microphone so I could pick you up, Hector. Thank you.
Good evening. Hector Delamora, the village attorney. Could you please elaborate for the board members, since they will be discussing this in closed session, the amount and the basis for your request for the waiver of the impact fees and your experience in getting impact fees waived in any other community? The impact fees that we're looking for waiver, again, as a reminder, all of the fees less the Delhart sewer fees, which is currently listed as $5,335 per unit, for a total waiver of $1,244,906. And as I mentioned before, that dollar amount is incorporated into our analysis that we've been working with the village's council, Ellers, to be able to make this project feasible for it to go forward. And as mentioned before, without that assistance, this project is not feasible, given the risk that the developer, 3-Leaf Development, is taking on, and the returns that are associated with that cost. So.
Second.
Anywhere? Have you gotten waivers?
Other communities to waive their impact and connection fees?
There are other communities that have waived their connection fees, and for me specifically, no, I can't answer that question. I can get you an answer on that question, but not off the top of my head. I can't provide that information.
Are there
for
other
you.
communities that have not waived them?
I don't know to the best of my knowledge right now, so.
Any other questions? Any other questions from staff?
Just so everybody is aware, when we go into closed session, I'm going to end the Zoom meeting. When we come back into open, we will be live on TV, but the Zoom portion, no one will be able to join.
All right. Well, pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, section E, upon a motion duly made, may convene in a closed session for the purposes of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, namely to discuss the details of the TIF funding, the forgiveness of village impact fees and connection fees pertaining to the proposed project, as well as any other aspect of the same which could have financial or other related implications for the village. This would take a roll call vote to go into closed session. It would take a motion and a second to go into closed session.
I'll move that we go into closed session per the above.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into closed session pursuant to statute 19.85 under section E.
Trustee DeBoer?
Here.
Trutchell?
Here.
Pfeiffer?
Yes or no? I know what, I just want to make sure that,
Yes. Trustee Trutchell?
yes.
Pfeiffer?
Yes.
President Vanderstel?
Yes.
Trustee Walschlager?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
That's unanimous to go into closed session. We'll take a few minutes, as is very customary, to take care of anything we need to before the closed session, and then we'll be in closed.